David Lincoln Productions.
All right, folks, and welcome back to day 4 of our trading UVXY. And hey, I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been great. Keep hitting that like button. If you're watching this now, go ahead and just hit that like button. That really helps me out. Leave a comment. I'm really excited. All you guys have left a bunch of comments on the last couple videos. I'm trying to get up to like 200 views per video in the first day. So if because last week I forgot to turn on the monetizing for a couple days in a row, and so I'm trying to make it up for it now. I don't know if you know how YouTube works, but the way it works is the more minutes people watch, the better it is for me. So if you're in the middle of the video and you got something else to do, just leave it playing, and I'll get more credit if more minutes are watched. And also, don't forget to hit that like button. Sign up for Patreon, give just $1, and it helps me out a huge amount. But I just really want to thank you guys for watching and all your support, all your questions and comments. I can tell people are getting excited about making some money. Just a word of caution once again is these videos are not necessarily, actually not in any way for you to try to follow exactly what I'm doing. The point here is that, and you know what, I really need a thing to put in front of this microphone because I keep popping it. The point here is for you to see someone trading and to kind of get involved with the mechanics and what the thought processes are. But it's not necessary for you to trade the products I trade. Or necessarily trade the VIX. If it's something that you're into, that's fine. But I know it's going to be hard to replicate exactly what I'm doing. In fact, it never works out in the trading world to just copy what someone else is doing. However, this should give you an idea of what the thought processes might be behind making options trades. It should give you the idea of how things kind of work in real time. And one thing that I keep remembering after the videos are over, which I really want to stress to you, is when I first started trading, there was a guy who came on who was clerking with me. They would send out these clerks to me from time to time to help out with a position. And a lot of these people were really highly educated. This one guy, he'd just gotten out of Stanford, super smart, had been doing investment banking or something. He comes on to trade, and he had all the theory. He'd studied up on options theory and all these things. And a lot of times when you get actually there, your account's funded, you're ready to go and everything, it's hard for some people to actually just pull the trigger. And it's like, well, I could buy a call on this, but so many things could go against me, and maybe that's not the best idea. Or I could put this spread on, but I don't want to lose money, and there's some other things that maybe I should wait to do something else. It takes a certain amount of confidence and creativity to trade, and sometimes you just have to step up and actually just do something, and then you're off and running. But for this guy, he came in, he went through our program, and I'm not talking about the program of this channel or something, but the program for the firm that I was working for. I was working initially for a firm called Group 1 Trading. It still exists. It's still one of the biggest market maker firms at the SIBO. You'll see a guy from Group 1 Trading come on for the VIX reports. If you type SIBO VIX and look for videos, you'll see a guy from Group 1 Trading on there. But he went through the program, and then he just had a hard time. Like, once he got out there and he was ready to trade, he had a hard time actually doing anything. And in the end, you're going to be wrong sometimes, but you actually have to go and try stuff if you're going to make money, and that can be a tough thing to do at times. Also, the other thing I wanted to say is last time I was on I guess it was kind of a busy time on the internet, because you can see that the audio is pretty good, but the video of my face, which, you don't really need to see my face to get what I'm talking about, but it was kind of stuttery. I apologize for that. It's a thing within the network, which I really can't control. I could record these videos not live and then upload them, and it would be better quality, and maybe I should do that, but I do like the idea of having it live and having you able to interact with me and ask questions and stuff like that. Okay, with that said, if you like this series on just going through trades each day and talking about what I'm actually doing in my real life trading account, then hit the like button. Let me know you like it. Leave a comment, and then I'll know to continue to keep making these videos. Okay, so far today, really, I am a position trader, and what that means is that I have ongoing options in different stocks that they're evolving over time. And some days I'm very active, like yesterday and the day before I was very active. Today, not so much. I try to, in my mind, I'm trying to put on a position that will work for me over a period of the next few weeks. And I'm trying to position myself in a way that if things work out, I will be profitable without having to actually really touch it too much. And that's kind of where we are now. So let's just go over the trades for today really quickly. This is going to be a short video here, folks. Please consider doing my Patreon thing. It's at the bottom of the page. You could just give $1 or something, and I would really appreciate it. Okay, so look, here's a list of all the stocks that I've traded this year behind me. I've been kind of jumping into stuff when it was busy, and I was actually looking at some new stuff today. And one of my favorite places to look for stuff, of course, is at barchart.com. It doesn't cost anything. I go to barchart.com, and I look under options, and then either unusual activity. That can be interesting. We here see CRM, for example. CRM. So with 21 days till expiration, the 150 call, somebody, it looks like they traded a bunch of them there. 6,000 trade, midpoint bid ask. They trade 470. So that looks like somebody was buying these calls. CRM, the at the money calls expiring next week. So we don't know. This is a perfect example of a trade. We know someone's buying calls, but we don't know if that's bullish or bearish. And the rookie trader will see call buying and say, oh, someone thinks this is going to go up, I should lean long. But we don't know that at all. It could be just the opposite. CRM being Salesforce. The stock was on quite a run a little while ago, as I remember it, but kind of not doing all that much lately. The other one I was really looking at is ACB. And look at this ACB. Okay, it's come way down. And if you did really like this one, and I believe this is a takeover candidate. Now, there's been a lot of hype about how the MJ stocks have been overvalued just because it's kind of a sexy thing to trade. I found this ETF on marijuana stocks here. It's called YOLO. And look, this tells the story. The MJ stock straight down over the last few months. Just if you've bought them, you've lost money most likely. And I know it's a popular thing to talk about. It sounds cool to be like, oh yeah, I'm a trader. I trade MJ stocks. But it hasn't been cool in a while. But all that being said, there might be some stuff that's offered on discount here. When I look at Aurora, that it kind of looks that way to me. It's been in a downtrend for a while here. But if we go out, it looks like if we go out to March, okay, 231 days till expiration. Look at the March 7 calls. Now, these are up a little bit from where they were yesterday, but they closed yesterday offered at 50 cents. I mean, it seems like you're basically leasing the stock. You're leasing with the right to buy the stock at the $7 strike all the way out here, 230 days out, and it seems really dollar cheap. Now, you can even make this into a spread. Say you could buy the March 7 call. What if you bought the March 8s and sold the March 12s? You could leg into a spread here for reasonably cheap. I don't know where the bottom's going to be in ACB, but it would not shock me at all if we popped from here and better than buying the stock, paying $6 a share. Why not buy some of these March 7 calls paying like 55 cents? Well, right now you'd have to pay like 65 cents probably, but keep an eye on these. I would check things before you were to buy something like this. I would check things like the open interest. If we look at the open interest here, so the March, these calls only have an open interest of 8 right now, so not a whole lot of interest there. So you probably couldn't come in if you were a big player and buy thousands of them. They probably move the markets out of your way pretty quick. But look at the open interest in this Jan though. There's a lot more there. 36,000 in the Jan 7 calls. And this stuff all just seems very dollar cheap to me. It's showing 59 volatility, a $6 stock. That seems all reasonable. And in the case where you have a $6 stock and volatility is like 60, this is all great leverage over buying the stock, even though you say, well, it's not like a $200 stock with options, but it's still much better if you want to get long to buy the options than the stock here. All right, so just back to the trades for today. Not a whole lot happened, as I said. I've only done a handful of basically 3 trades here. And one, I was basically just cleaning up the BYND. I have nothing on BYND now. I just kind of took off the stuff. Instead of closing stuff out the same exact strikes as I opened yesterday, I closed different strikes to avoid that that pattern day trading rule. And then I've just added a couple more spreads here as we rallied up. So I did I bought a couple more of these spreads. That good old September 27-24 spread. I paid $1.32 for a couple more, or for one more, and I paid $1.46 for a couple more, and then the rest was just closing out BYND. Besides that, once you're in a spike situation like this, and the VIX is spiked, and if we look at a chart of the VIX, we can see that's the situation we're in now. We're in a spike. There's the spike right there. Let's see if I can kind of move this around a little bit. Hello. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Hold on here. Sorry, I'm just fixing the screen here, folks. Okay, so the display. All right, we're in a spike here, and you can see we're back up to almost 20. And you can see the last big spike we had was at the end of April. You can see there's one of these like every 3 or 4 months. And pretty much every time here you see it goes back down right away. And that's kind of what we're anticipating right now. If we go to the UVXY chart, we can see also there we're in a spike. It doesn't look as extreme at all. But you can see the volume has been huge on this particular number here, but compared with just the rundown, it's not a huge spike. Obviously, if we were to tighten up the charts here, I like to, as you'll probably notice with me, I will flip through like a lot of different views of the same chart with different time frames and stuff, because a lot of times when people have something that they believe is true, they're going to just look for the time chart that most verifies what they want to happen. So, for example, if they want a chart to look bullish, they're going to flip through all the charts till they see the one that looks most bullish to them and focus on that one. But you should look through all the charts. It's going to give you different perspectives, and you should try to remain teachable, of course. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to show you how big of a spike we had, this would be a great chart for it, right? Look at that one. Boom. I guess it's a 20-day chart. And yeah, we've had a huge spike right here, and we're in the middle of it. And, if you look at the last video I made, we were back down around 30. We're actually up from the last video I made. So we are still moving up in this spike. That, of course, means that the position that we put on yesterday has gone against me a little bit. And that is kind of to be expected. It's very hard to like pick the top of something. It's the same rationale as you can't get the whole move on something. And so it's perfectly likely that this spike continues higher before it goes down. That's kind of what's happening now. But if you want to look on the positive side, E-minis are down less than 1%. The actual realized volatility in the SPX, I think, does not justify this move in the VIX. And so it's that same old story. If we don't continue to accelerate to the downside, this vol will be unsustainable and vol will come in. If you look very carefully, if you follow this very closely, which I kind of have been today, you'll notice here, and there's these off to my left here, I've got the VIX, the VVIX, and the VVIX actually went negative for a little bit. Now it's back up again, but VIX 938, front month future 1840, second month future 1817. Now, we are in backwardation now. That you can see the front month future is higher than the second month future, so that means we're in backwardation. But this term structure is going to try to sort itself out. If we stay right around 19 here, these futures are going to move up to meet it. If we do move lower, then if we move lower in the VIX at the end of the day, for example, the futures will try to arrange themselves back into contango as quickly as possible. But right now, you're going to see us in backwardation. If we pull up VIX Central, you'll see that on the chart. And that means that, in a sense, stuff is getting pulled up now against our position. However, usually when we're in backwardation, it doesn't last very long, and it means we're in the middle of a spike, and we should come off it. But we can't predict the future. We don't know what's going to happen next. But you can see from that, of course. Let me check and make sure I'm not in the way. I'm completely in the way, of course. So there you go. You can see, okay, so it's these first two futures that are all that matters for UVXY, and you can see they're in backwardation, the front month higher than the second one. If you go down to the bottom here, you see by 1.24%. And thus, stuff is actually now being pulled upward. So if I take out my little sketch pad thing here, what I'm doing is I'm doing the snippet tool, and then I'm allowed to write on it now. Okay, stuff is being pulled up, right? So the stuff is being pulled up towards spot now. Futures are being pulled up towards spot. So that's not good for us being short, because the pressure is pulling up on the futures now. A few minutes ago, spot got down to below 19 and was getting, but as spot moves down now, if we come off the spike right now, what's going to happen is spot's going to move down, but the futures are going to move down too. And once we get to a certain point, the spot will cross over the futures, and then they'll start to arrange themselves back into contango. But as long as the spot is above the futures here, a little down move in spot will make the futures move down too. So everything is going to move down lower. So it's not like if right now the futures moved, it's not like right now if spot moved to 1850 where the front month future is, that it would cross the future right at 1850. No, if it moved to 1850 right now, the future would move down as well to like 18, and it takes a little bit more of a move than, I'd say that VIX would have to go essentially below 1775 before it would actually cross the futures right now. But like I said, we're off the lows today a little bit, and these things can't stay elevated for too long without there being more of an extreme move continued to the downside. If you look at here's the E-mini chart for the last few days, and you can see that move down. Boom, that's a dramatic move down. However, we're off the lows here, and unless it continues to move lower by the end of the day and tomorrow, then there's pressure on this VIX to move lower. Right now, VIX up 154 on the day. The position we put on yesterday going against us. But I'm just hanging out, I'm confident in my analysis. I've picked a spread that was far enough out. I've still got 49 days till expiration, and we'll hang out. I'm not going to get worried about this right now. I feel comfortable with it on as it is. All right, guys. That's where we stand right now. I hope you're doing well in your own trading. I hope some of this is helping you a little bit to just think about things. I know I think about things differently than other traders do, but follow different people, get different perspectives, and develop your own trading style. Some people have just a day trading style. If you talk to my buddy Clinton, he trades completely differently than I do. And different people have different styles, but I just want to expose you to mine. And hopefully you can just take one or two little things from it, and we can talk about options theory. I'm going to try to bring other people on the channel, and that's kind of where we stand. I don't plan on making any more adjustments to my positions going into the weekend here. It would be great if we got a little rally into the close, but who knows what's going to happen. We're a day and a half into this spike right now, And if we do look at UVXY right now, and we go to the daily, we are a little bit off the highs, but not that much off the highs. And I'm right in the middle of the way right now. So let me move the chart over instead of me for a change. And that's kind of where we stand. If the spot VIX stays here, look for the futures to pull UVXY even higher up towards spot, even if spot doesn't go higher. And but the good news is that the two front month futures, 1840 and 1820 right now, are not heavily in backwardation. And I love seeing the back months get up so that we can arrange ourselves quickly back into contango as soon as we have, an up day for the major indices. So that's where we stand right now. Not a winner P&L wise for us, but we did manage to avoid, UVXY moved up $3. We were not short any of that time. We got short up $3 and change, and then it moved up an additional $1.75 today after we got short in our face. That's kind of where we stand right now, and it looks like we stand that way going into the weekend. Thanks for watching. Check out the recent videos. Smash that like button. I know I sound like a YouTuber here asking to smash the like button and leave comments, but I do want to be popular. I want this channel. I want people to watch it. The biggest thing for me, if more people watch the channel, is I can get bigger and bigger interviews to come on for you guys. So that would be awesome. And I can do more and more stuff if we get a little bit bigger. It frustrates me to see people that really don't know much about trading, but just happen to have bigger audiences come up with some silly video about BYND or something and get like 20 times the views that I get. So let's make this channel get some views. And it's all up to you guys. I'll do the best I can to provide you with compelling content, and you smash that like button. Leave a comment, even if you just leave a comment that says comment or, hey, Dave, that helps because it all goes into the algorithm and it makes my video appear on more and more search stuff if you leave a comment. So do that. Also, if you actually have legitimate questions, I have people emailing me all the time. You know who you are out there. And I have people reaching out to me on Twitter, and I am pretty responsive. Sometimes I don't get back to you for a couple of days. Most of the time, I'm right on it. I want to help you guys with whatever you're trading. I don't expect you to be trading the same things I am. These happens to be the stuff that I'm trading right now. You might have something completely different you're trading, and I'm willing to look at it. Let's give each other ideas. I'm trying to figure out better ways for the people who are watching this channel to interact with each other. I don't want to have the same old thing as other people, but maybe some sort of free chat or something. I think it's ridiculous, these things that have these Discord rooms where they're charging you money to be in a chat room, and then they're telling you about these trades that they did like days before. They're like, oh yeah, yesterday I did this and made money. And they're like, okay, now if you're a gold tier member, you can hear that like in the morning instead of the afternoon. It doesn't help. And, for me to say, oh, I think this is going to happen, or I think this is a good trade for you to do in real time, don't fall into that trap. You need to find your own trades and your own ideas. Finding somebody who is making money trading and them telling you what they're doing, it's not going to work for you. Even if it's a great trader, it's not going to work for you because you're not in the same timing as those people. And if they tell you after the fact what they're doing, you're not going to be able to get in the trade at the right moment. And plus, it's just the wrong mindset to be in that, okay, I'm going to make money because I'm going to follow what someone else is doing. That's not the mindset of a trader. The mindset of a trader is somebody who is looking around them, exploring stocks. If you listen to Warren Buffett, he went through financial reports. Go through any lists you can find online. Get on StockTwits, get on maybe some other chat group, find these new ideas, and pursue your own original ideas. That is the way to develop as a trader. You can watch me make or lose money on this stuff, and it's going to help you. Hopefully it's going to help you with your execution, with your mechanics, and that sort of thing. But as far as actually being successful and making money, it's something that you have to make your own way. And I wish it was easier for you. I wish I could just lay it out for you and it would work that way, but that's not the way it works. You have to make your own way, and you have to figure out your own ideas to do things. Just an example is this stuff lately. The 3 videos ago, I was talking about the idea of selling naked calls in UVXY. If somebody had come in and said, "Oh, I'm going to follow Dave's idea of selling naked calls in UVXY," they would have gotten killed because they didn't see the part where, like, I saw the market start to turn and cover my calls before this spiked. And it's not like I'm going to like send out alerts. Alert, I'm covering my position now. You should too. I don't want that kind of responsibility. I don't want people to be placing their financial success in my hands. That's not my job in life. People have asked me, "Oh, do you want to be a financial advisor and manage money for people?" That's never been my interest in life, managing other people's money. I would love to teach you more about how the market works and its mechanics so that you can be more independent at managing your own money. But I don't see my role at all as pointing you towards a particular trade or another. And a lot of people that do that, I think, are either frauds. I mean, some people are good at picking stocks, and maybe they're good at managing money. But a lot of the people I see online are just trying to charge you an arm and leg to teach you like stock market basics, which is ridiculous. So it's a tough game out there, and there's nothing easy about it. And here we sit. We'll have to see how the position works out here. Short UVXY now. Let's see what our delta is in UVXY as we come into the weekend. Short 364 deltas. UVXY trading 32 right now. And and there we stand. It looks like we're approaching the lows of the day again in the E-minis. But it really kind of seems like it's the NASDAQ today that's been pulling us down the most. There's the E-mini chart there. If I pull up the NASDAQ here, it kind of just feels like the NASDAQ has been heavier today and kind of been like leading the charge. And it does that a lot of the time. And, are we forming a bottom here? I don't know. I do know that it's good that we haven't just accelerated from 10 o'clock just straight down again, that we've kind of gone sideways here. BYND's held up pretty well, but the VIX up 1953. Now, that's pretty high in the VIX, but, who knows? We could stay here for a little while. My optimism will be for us to arrange the futures back into contango as quickly as possible, and that will be pulling us down. So let's take one last look at VIX Central before I leave you for the weekend here. And there we have it in the middle of a spike. Okay, let's see, Marcella. I did everything covered, don't worry, good. All right, so here we are. Glad to hear that you are doing okay out there. So we're in the middle of a spike. Obviously, we've got spot way above everything else, and the term structure doesn't really know what to do here. It's kind of flattening out. Interesting to me how this, December being lower than the rest of the months seems to be a bigger feature of the chart than it has been in past years. When we look to the farther months out, like past November, we have to realize that there's not a whole lot of volume out there in those months. So all that stuff is not all that meaningful. Like if I pull up the volume for the VIX right now, you're going to see that there's not a lot of volume out there. And so don't take too much quote unquote stock in those options. Okay, so here's the volume figures to my right. And let me just move everything over here. See if we can make this clearer. And we'll try to expand this chart. And so here's the volume figures for the futures. For the futures, the VIX futures, and I'm just going to try to make it a little bit bigger. So that we can see it quite a little bit better. All right. All right, so you can see on the left is the price of the futures, and if I move it way over to the right, you can see the volume. And so the April 2020 only has 7 contracts today and moving up. You can see very light volume with, you can't even see the top in that one, but now I move it down. The front month future, 138,000 contracts. Second month future, 89,000 contracts. Third October, 27,000. But then it just drops off. 7,000 contracts in Dece. Jan has 3,000 today. Feb 1,000, and March 700 contracts. So that outer end of the curve doesn't really change that much. And doesn't count for that much because there's not a lot of volume farther out in the curve. However, curve flattening out, and we will look to see what happens next. All right. Yes. Hi in Buenos Aires. And thanks for watching, folks. Have a great weekend and happy trading.
David Lincoln Productions.